One important partnership that we have cherished for the last more than 30 years is with the Christian Pentecostal Church of Cuba. The key element there is that it started in a very indirect way, because in 1975, Francisco Martinez, who was the president of that church, Christian Pentecostal Church of Cuba, was at the General Assembly of the World Council of Churches in Nairobi, Kenya, and he needed somebody to translate. And Bill Nottingham offered to translate for him. And when they started the conversation, and they started to know each other, and every day they met at breakfast and shared what was going on in the assembly, they became friends. And then here came Thomas J. Liggett, who was also part of the DOM, Division of Overseas Ministries at that time. And then they knew each other. The three of them started, Francisco and TJ, and then the three of them. And from there, Bill Nottingham went to Cuba, and we started a relationship in the 70s, which has been a blessing to us. This is a unique church in Cuba. It's a Pentecostal church that is very ecumenical. It's a church that over the years have been an active member of the Cuban Council of Churches. They have received delegations from the US, from Canada, from Europe. They participate actively in the council. One of the members of the Christian Pentecostal Church, Reverend Rhoda Gonzalez, a black woman who was the president of the Cuban Council, the first woman ever, and the first black person to be president of the council for 2 terms. She finished that in 2006. And we have been, through this church, kind of connected to other churches in Cuba, Baptist and Presbyterians. That's one level of the relationship. The Cuban Council of Churches always have been a very important place for us, because they relate to more than 30 denominations, and that includes now the Society of Islamic Studies in Cuba. Recently I was with the Imam, Pedro Lasso, is a dear friend of mine. The Jewish community is an associate member of that council, so it's really a very ecumenical council, and we like that, and it has helped us to understand more the dynamics of religious life in Cuba. Then we also relate to the Evangelical Seminary of Cuba in Matanzas. This seminary was established in 1946. Usually they sent all these mainland denominations, sent the students to Puerto Rico until 1945. And then in 1946, they established this seminary, which now receives students even from Germany, from Brazil, from Cuba, from Venezuela, from other parts, from Mexico. We have had students. I'm an adjunct professor there teaching the chair of Pentecostal Studies that we established in 2009. So we have had this dynamic relationship with the Cuban churches through the council, through the Christian Pentecostal Church of Cuba, and through this Union Seminary. That is a unique place in Cuba. It is a place in which a very ecumenical environment is cherished and shared.